Good morning. Good morning, our district governor. Good morning, our distinguished facilitators that will introduce shortly. Good morning, our visiting and other PDG that is joining us. We'll be introducing him shortly. And there are fellow Rotarians of Rotary District 9112 and beyond. I want to welcome you to today's program, which is the one dedicated for the month of October. October being the month designated in Rotary calendar for community economic development. Our district governor is here online, and our two facilitators are here online. And I think we need to start, and then others will be joining us as we progress in the program. On that note, I would like to respectfully invite our district governor Larry Adedoyin, to please help us declare the online seminar open. District governor, sir. District governor. Am I audible?
Yes, I can hear you.
We can hear you.
Okay.
We can hear you, sir.
Okay.
We can hear you.
Yeah. PAG, Akin, please reach out to our district governor. Our district governor, sir.
Good morning.
Okay. Yes, sir. We are ready for you, sir. District governor. Wow. This is a technical hitch.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. Good morning, our district learning facilitator, fellow Rotarians. Welcome to the monthly online learning for the month of October 2025. As our district learning facilitator has said, this month is designated by Rotary International for Community Economic Development. And today, we are going to be enriched by two knowledgeable and well-experienced Rotarians. I want to thank PDG Obafunsho for accepting to take us on this. I also thank PAG Segun Adewakun. So, at exactly 8:09, I hereby call this online learning to order. Please let us enjoy the knowledge of our experts and take useful wins. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Yes, thank you, sir. DGN Uyishobi, are you here? Okay. I think she's still having issues with connection. Well, we have two facilitators for today's program. We have our revered past district governor Obafunsho Ogunkeye, and we also have with us our own past assistant governor Segun Adewakun. Segun Adewakun will be speaking with us on one of the topics. Just a minute, I'm trying to sort that one out. It's supposed to be taken by we, but she's not here now. Just 1 second. Yes, we have two topics for today's discussion. The first speaker will speak to us on empowering communities through sustainable economic growth. That will be by PDG Obafunsho Ogunkeye. And then the second speaker, PAG Segun Adewakun, will be talking on empowering local entrepreneurs and small businesses to foster economic growth and reduce poverty. Each of our facilitators will speak for 20 minutes. And then at the end of the two presentations, we'll take comments and questions. And then that will be it. The first speaker of today is past district governor Obafunsho Ogunkeye. PDG Ogunkeye is an experienced and seasoned legal practitioner with over 37 years of practice. And he has over the years acquired in-depth knowledge and skills and expertise, particularly in areas of focus of his practice, including litigation and arbitration arising therefrom. He's a past district governor of Rotary International, District 9125, then now 9126. He served in the year 2010-2011, when the theme for that year was building communities, bridging continents. He was between 2018 and 2021, a Rotary membership coordinator for our zone 22. And he has also been an International Assembly training leader in the year 2020. So you can see that our facilitator for the first topic is an experienced Rotarian and an established legal practitioner. Please join me in welcoming our distinguished speaker and facilitator for this first topic, past district governor Obafunsho Ogunkeye, to address us, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, PDG Kola Sodipo. And thank you for inviting me to this session, which you hold monthly. I want to extend my appreciation to the district governor, Larry Adedoyin, and particularly the chairman of this particular monthly session, PAG Akin, Akintolu. Thank you for the introduction. The danger in picking one's profile online sometimes is that the dates are not updated. I've just been reminded that I'm not 37 years post-call experience, but we can leave that. So let's go to the topic of our discussion: empowering communities through sustainable economic growth. I've been given 20 minutes to take us through. So I start by letting us know that Rotary clubs are positioned to drive economic growth. If we don't know that, please just wait until I ask you to move the slide. And we must ask ourselves, as Rotarians in different clubs, which aspect of our program or project are geared towards driving economic growth. As this topic indicated, we are talking of empowerment. And then you need to ask ourselves, even for the things we do, which we call empowerment programs, we'll look at those qualities of input and what should go into our decision in saying, oh, we want to embark on an empowerment program, which ultimately we expect to drive economic growth. Next slide. So how are we able to attain this economic growth? So in my presentation, we will look at what are the things we need to do in planning and delivering sustainable projects. Next slide. So the first thing is economic growth and empowerment is achievable when we combine professional expertise of our members towards that objective. And this is where we come about the fact that we preach diversity in our clubs. So that when we have different professionals in our clubs, they're able to bring their expertise in achieving that successful empowerment program. Secondly, the community must be involved. We must involve community networks. We oftentimes deliver projects that is just to our own liking, to our own desire, without thinking of involving community. The community we are taking benefits to. So that is a consideration for us as Rotarians. Then engaging global partnership. This is without prejudice to the number one and number two I mentioned above. As Rotarians, when we talk about engaging global partnership, then we're looking at a project which is funded by through global grants. So we say it is achievable by combining professional expertise, involving the community, and engaging global partnership. Next slide. So no matter what we do, we must think about sustainability. So a project of empowerment where you give what do you call it? Grinding machine to women for economic reasons, or barbing clippers to barbers, or some of these projects of intervention we carry out. Sustainability is important. And when you talk about sustainability, you look at immediate needs that are going to be met and the long-term opportunities that are created. Two things: immediate needs, then the long-term opportunities. Next slide. So what are the principles? Projects should be community-owned and driven. And then emphasis on environmental responsibility and inclusivity. These are the sustainability principles we also want to bear in mind. Next slide. And when we have all of this, the expected impact are the following: increased income levels and reduced poverty. If this is not achieved, then you have to have a second look at that project. Empowered youth and women entrepreneurs, stronger self-reliant communities, and long-lasting change built on skills and opportunities. Please take note, it's not just aid. And we get lost in this regard by when a project is just giving aid to those people. Long-lasting change built on skills and opportunities. So skills have to be involved. Opportunities have to be created. But if we just give cash to the cash bailouts and we just provide kits to, I don't know, there are different ways we end up executing our projects, which can be termed as just giving aid. So let us go on and have a look at some of these projects we may, next slide, we may give consideration. So in delivering on this topic, I have about 4 or 5 or 6 examples of projects that you may want to consider. Skills development and vocational training centers. So establishing vocational centers for youth and women is one of the avenues. Supporting entrepreneurship through mentorship and skill acquisition. Mentorship and skill acquisition requires that we as professionals may be requested to open our doors if we are in related profession to the skill we want to pass on to the community, and then provide internship opportunities. These are ways we can offer skill development. And of course, we can also create vocational training centers where members of the community can be engaged in acquiring vocational skills, which will sustain their living. And next one, microfinance or Isusu schemes. We can partner with microfinance banks to provide small loans for startups or expanding existing business. Now, the microfinance bank has the infrastructure to give out loans and has the infrastructure in collecting loans. Rotary clubs are not geared towards that. So if that is our desire, we must consider factors which will aid the promotion of giving loans, ensuring that the loans are returned so that other members of the community can take advantage of the loan. Supporting cooperative societies and community savings groups with revolving loans. We know the importance of cooperative societies. They have the infrastructure to support or to advance their members' interests. And they have what you would say an internal mechanism of ensuring that the beneficiaries don't just vanish after they've received loans, which can be revolved. So these are, if your club is considering this, please bear these ones in mind. Next slide. Agricultural empowerment. Yes, this can be done through introducing modern farming techniques to farmers in rural areas, satellites. Maybe they have, as we used to have farm settlements in the past. We can consider that. Linking farmers to markets and promoting agro-processing ventures. Empowerment is all about ensuring that each person or the project is designed to improve their economic well-being. So farming is an area you can also consider when you are thinking of empowerment. And these are some of the ways that can be done. Next slide. Job creation and enterprise support. Helping small businesses scale sustainably. Well, what do you call a small business? A small business will be that which has an investment of maybe 100,000 to 500,000. That will be a small business. And the injection of funds into such a business may just be the bits that the person requires to attain sustainability or to sustain that business. Imagine you have the market woman who has wares of total value, not up to 50,000. How much profit can be generated from 50,000? The profit that will be generated will not even be enough to feed her or her family. So you need a capital of at a certain level to generate enough returns to even feed you or to even get anywhere. And that is why you find businesses in this cycle. You remain in one position. The person now goes out and the stock is exhausted. He or she is unable to stock again. And she's begging just for 20,000 or 30,000 to buy new stock. And when this new stock is purchased, it doesn't last that much for her to generate further income. So, I mean, helping small businesses scale sustainably is important. And of course, hosting business fora and innovation hubs. It is job creation and enterprise support. You can give support to the enterprise, give them knowledge, have breakouts, have people in the particular industry come to that meeting to talk to them, business fora. These are things we can think about in our clubs. We sometimes think, how do I put it? Our opinion, impression, or projection, or is it now tradition? We look at just particular areas in saying we are engaging in empowerment projects. Let us widen our scope. Let us widen our horizon. Next slide. And of course, partnerships and collaborations, working with governments, NGOs, and private sector to maximize impact. The greater impact we will make, or the impact we will make, depends on how well established is our project or the size. And if you're talking about NGOs, we have action groups through which we can increase our impact, because part of our strategic priorities as Rotarians is to increase our impact. So when you are considering partnerships, it is to achieve increased impact, not just at the level, not at the lower rung of the ladder. Leveraging Rotary's global network for funding and expertise. If we are considering projects along this along the line of community economic development, scaling it up will naturally increase our impact. So let us consider projects where we can leverage Rotary's global network, which is funding and expertise. In my club, we have been thinking of starting projects along this line, and it is well, if it is well worked out, it becomes a huge industry where a lot of lives will be impacted. So my dear fellow Rotarians, I hope that with this short discussion, I've been able to take us through what we consider as how do we empower, how do we sustain, and what we need to do as Rotarians to ensure that our membership in our Rotary clubs are well utilized, and that we give Rotarians the, what do I say, the satisfaction that they are contributing towards the growth of Rotary. It goes beyond attending meetings, it goes beyond being made an officer. It is specifically directed at using our expertise to drive economic reliance and economic emergence for our communities. So I want to thank, next slide, I want to thank the governor and the district learning facilitator, PDG Kola Sodipo, for inviting me to make this contribution at this meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Our River Pass District Governor Obafunsho Ogunkeye. Very soon, we're going to have the next speaker, and then at the end of the presentation of the next speaker, we can have our comments and questions. Please note all your questions, comments, and then by the time we are through with the next speaker, then we'll be able to take those questions. The next speaker, as I mentioned earlier on, it's also an experienced Rotarian. He is a past assistant governor, a past district secretary, and he is also the one that is taking us to Abeokuta for the district conference 2026. He's no other person than Rotarian Segun Adewakun of the Rotary Club of M.O.R.E, District 9112. Segun, over to you, sir, for your presentation.
Good morning, my district governor, district learning facilitator. Good morning to you, sir.
Morning.
The first speaker, highly revered PDG Obafunsho Ogunkeye. Good morning to you, sir. And of course, all our wonderful fellow Rotarians. Good morning to you all. I want to especially thank our district learning facilitator, as well as our leader, the district governor, for giving me this opportunity to come and talk on the topic that will be of interest to all Rotarians, and not only Rotarians, people generally. The theme for this month is community economic development, and the topic is empowering local entrepreneurs and small businesses to foster economic growth and reduce poverty. As a matter of fact, this is a topic that will readily be of interest to almost everybody. Why? The poverty level in the country is so high. So what can really be done, to transform communities through sustainable enterprise development that we can come up with emphasis to Rotary clubs. Next slide. So what are the expectations from us as Rotarians? One, we say that we have to serve beyond self. So we have to create sustainable systems that strengthen communities worldwide through knowledge sharing and mentorship. And to have the global impact, Rotary clubs have to mobilize resources, expertise, and partnerships to uplift livelihoods and create lasting change. So today's seminar will provide practical strategies for Rotarians and partners on how they can empower local entrepreneurs. Next slide, please. Now, this is a brain teaser. I want us to ruminate on this for like 30 seconds. I will come back to this. So the third slide, let's take note of this. I'm going to come back to this, but let's ruminate on these 3 sentences. Rotary clubs should empower local entrepreneurs to foster economic growth and reduce poverty. The second sentence says, to foster economic growth and reduce poverty, Rotary clubs should empower local entrepreneurs. The third one says, Rotary clubs should, to foster economic growth and reduce poverty, empower local entrepreneurs. So I want us to think about this. And within your mind, you can put, whatever comment you want to make in the chat room, whether these 3 sentences are saying the same thing or completely different things. All right. So let's go to the next slide. We'll come back to this. So why entrepreneurs and micro, small, and medium enterprises are economic lifelines? SMEs, MSMEs, are basically the economic foundation of communities worldwide. Why? Because according to the Small and Medium Enterprise Development Agency of Nigeria, SMEDAN, it says that micro, small, and medium enterprises, they comprise 99.9% of all businesses in Nigeria. As a matter of fact, this is a very alarming percentage, 99.9%. What that simply means is that in the area of job creation, MSMEs actually employ about 84% of Nigeria's workforce, providing livelihoods for millions of families. And you can already relate with that because you have small businesses here and there, and you see so many people not necessarily working in big corporate organizations, but in just small, micro, small, and medium enterprises. That is what gives them their livelihood. And that's what cuts across virtually everywhere in the country. In the area of poverty reduction, small businesses offer pathways out of poverty through income generation and skill development. And I can also relate with this because, you know, if you look at it deeply, for most people, the fact that they have something doing, no matter how small or what they generate, that is what forms their source of livelihood. And that is what keeps them going. And they keep on scaling until they're able to have, you know, big resources that can transform them into probably bigger enterprises. Inclusive growth, MSMEs create opportunities for women, youth, and marginalized communities to participate in the economy. Yes. And the reality of it is that MSMEs, in the area of inclusiveness, get women involved even in businesses. And that has a positive and catapult, effect on the economy. Because like they say, invest in a woman and you have a multiplier effect. Why? Because she invests in her family. So MSMEs, are very crucial to the development, of the growth of our economy. Next slide, please. Now, let's look at the development divide. I'm making comparison between the developed economies and the developing economies, like Nigeria. Now, for the developed economies, they have easy access to bank loans and credit. They have reliable electricity and infrastructure. They have efficient markets and distribution channels. They have strong regulatory frameworks. In the developing countries like Nigeria, we have limited formal financial services. This is improving though. We have inconsistent power supply. We have fragmented market access, and we have complex regulatory barriers. Now, the opportunity here is that digital finance and mobile money are rapidly bridging these gaps, creating new possibilities for entrepreneurs in developing markets. And this is absolutely correct. You'll see that in the last few years, you've had the development of so many digital platforms, fintech organizations coming up to actually take care of the unbanked and the underbanked sector of the economy. Many years back, as far back as in the 2000s, if they tell you that you will go to the market to buy, your normal foodstuffs and you don't necessarily have to carry cash, you say that's not possible. How am I going to buy yam? How am I going to buy pepper from the person that is selling pepper? And I'll tell her that, sorry, I'm going to transfer money to you. But today, that is a reality. As a matter of fact, most of them actually have POS, in which, you can make your payments through your cards. So you don't necessarily have to carry cash at this time. And that's one of the great things that the government through CBN, had done when they introduced the cashless policy in 2011, 2012. The ripple effect of that is that it's made our country to be much better. It's safer. You don't need to carry cash anywhere, and we're all better off for it. I can't remember the last time that I've had to carry so much cash on me. Most of my transactions are just online, and it makes life easier for everybody. Next slide. Now, according to the National Bureau of Statistics, says that the micro, small, and medium enterprises operating across Nigeria is about 42 million. And that 48% of them actually contribute to the GDP, nearly half of Nigeria's economic output. But here is the funny part of it. The export share says that only 7% out of all the MSMEs that we have in the country, they only contribute 7% to the export share, which is quite low. But the opportunity there is that it still gives significant opportunity for growth in global markets. So with targeted support, Nigeria's MSMEs will become powerful engines of export diversification and global competitiveness, transforming the economic landscape. So the opportunity is out there. There's serious room for expansion for MSMEs in the country once they get it right in so many areas, in the area of documentation about their products, in the area of branding, and in the area of quality delivery. Once they can get all this right, then it gives a huge opportunity for them, to get their products out there on the global scale. In a country like Ghana, there is an entrepreneur that exports, yam to the United States. And if you see the figures that he talks about in the area of revenue that it generates every year, it's just alarming. But you cannot just take yam and just package and say you want to sell it to US. No, you have to meet up with the standards. You have to meet up with the branding. And you have to also meet up with the quality because there are regulatory authorities that will evaluate all this. So the opportunity for MSMEs in Nigeria is that if you can address most of these areas, then this figure of 7% can move up significantly. Next. Now, how do we break down the barriers? Of course, the barrier of financial access, limited access to credit and banking services leave entrepreneurs struggling to grow their ventures. Yes, for many entrepreneurs, if you ask them what is the challenge, they'll tell you there's no money. That's a big challenge, really. But the opportunities are opening up gradually, and I'll tell you how. Then you have the infrastructure gaps. That's unreliable electricity and poor transportation networks, increase operational costs dramatically. Then lack of business training and complex regulatory processes hinder sustainable growth. The reality of it is that you see a typical entrepreneur and you tell him that, look, what kind of business are you doing? What are your projections for the next 5 years? What are your projections for the next 10 years? Can I see your business plan? It's like you're talking Greek. They don't even understand what you're saying. So it simply means you start up a business, you don't even have a business plan. You don't have your projections. You just feel that, oh, because I have 100,000 now, I want to start up this business. You don't even understand the market where you're going into. That is the area of knowledge gap. You don't even understand, who are the players in the kind of business you want to go into. So these are the barriers that, as Rotary clubs, we can actually address. We address the area of filling that knowledge gap area, so that people understand that you can start small, but you can grow big if you do the right thing. The reality of it is that if you give somebody 10 million today, he says, oh, I want to do a business, and it comes to you, and you give the person 10 million naira, you have not actually helped that person, because go back to the same person in about 6 months or 7 months. You might not necessarily even have to go back to him. He will come back to you because that money has gone down the drain. Doesn't understand how to go about, scaling up whatever they are doing. So most of the time, it's not about the money. It's about the ideas, about the strategies you have in place, on the businesses that you are doing. So the best thing that can happen, to most MSMEs is the area of the knowledge gap, to understand completely what you have to do, the processes you have to go through, as a small business before you can then graduate to become, a bigger business. So it's not really about the money all the time. The reality of it is that the opportunities are out there for MSMEs now, to be able to address this area of funding and this area of financing. Most of the fintech companies, will even be the ones to reach out to you once they see the flow in your account. That, oh, we can give you this loan and all that, But reality of it is that if you take the loan and you don't know how to use it effectively, you just put yourself into problems. And they always tell people that even when you want to start a new business, don't start a new business with a loan. Most people don't get that right. And that's where in the area of, knowledge gap, people have to, be mentored and, explain to the risks involved when you're starting a new business and taking a loan to start it. You can take a loan when you are scaling up. You have run the business for a while, you understand the challenges in that business, you have been able to overcome the challenges in that business, and then you have been able to overcome it and move to the next level. So when you're talking about maybe branch expansions, for your business, then you can take a loan because you already have a working prototype somewhere on this. So going to another place to start up the same business, your expectations, the kind of challenges you are likely to face there, and you are ready for it. So in the area of knowledge gap, that's why it's so important that we need to coach and mentor these MSMEs, to be able to understand this very well, so that if they have a deep understanding about all this, most businesses that will go down under 5 years of startup, can readily become lifelong businesses. Now, a real story is a local tailor in Lagos who will spend 40% of his daily earnings on generator fuel just to keep sewing machines running during frequent power outages. You will see that a typical tailor, for instance, has a lot of work. Maybe you're very good. The tailor is so good in what he or she is doing, but he needs, constant and regular power supply to run his machineries to be able to deliver promptly, even to the client. So in order to be able to meet up with this delivery, you have to spend so much money in buying fuel all the time. And the reality of it is that it's either one, he will keep on disappointing you. By the time he or she looks at the bottom line, that all my money has actually gone on buying fuel. He will always disappoint the client, give regular excuses why he cannot meet up with timely deliveries, or will have to, give a commensurate, increase in the cost of giving that service, to the client. It's improving now because of probably regular power supply we tend to have, but the question is still the affordability. Because even when they say band hey, and you look at the cutthroat price that people have to pay for that, the reality of it is that a small business that is on band A and it looks at and has to have the machineries running, round the clock. By the time you look at the bill you have to pay in a month, how do you really survive from that? So those are the regulatory challenges that government can look into to ensure that MSMEs, are also well provided for to be able to have significant impact in our economy. In the developed economies, you will see that most of these things are well addressed, and that's why to a large extent you see those economies flourishing. But the reverse is the case here in our own side. But with most of the framework that the government is trying to put in place, we think that better days are ahead. Next slide. So how do we finance the missing middle? there are a lot of policies that are coming up. From 1990s to 2000, the government, through the CBN, came up with a policy in the area of a cashless policy. And you had a consortium of banks, forming up a platform that they call NISS, Nigeria Interbank Settlement System, and that's purely for banking transaction exchanges. So as far back as then, you'll see that, if you want to do anything online, I want to transfer money from UBA to First Bank, the framework, started then. And by the time we moved to 2011, 2012, we'll see that the speed was, quite high. You had the introduction of ATMs, POS, and all that digital channels to make, digital transactions easier and to make life even easier for everybody. Now, ATM is practically everywhere. POS is virtually everywhere. Even a merchant, the bank will even tell the merchant that, listen, when they see the flow in your account, they will readily offer you their POS to take, so that you don't necessarily need to carry cash. So the cashless society has played a significant role, in the growth of our economy, and that's technology. So to address this the micro, medium, and small enterprises, the microfinance is established, to address that. So they take care of very small businesses and also community savings groups, cooperatives, they also address that for MSMEs, while the traditional banking system addresses the large enterprises and the wholesale capital. If a company like Dangote wants to raise funds, they won't be raising 200 or 300,000. No. So the microfinance is not for them. The Dangote and the likes is the traditional banking that will address their own issues, the large enterprises. So next slide. Now, the digital revolution. I mentioned this while I was talking. The mobile money platforms are revolutionizing how small businesses handle transactions now. They build credit histories and access formal financial services. In a place like Kenya, in the year 2007, a software company, Safari.com, came up with a software, that they called M.Pesa, in which over 30 million users, were able to access, seamless payments and microloans. They were able to, withdraw. They were able to make transfers, able to deposit, able to take overdraft loans, and so on through this platform. And this also moved to a place like Ghana, where most places that you have the unbanked and the underbanked, sector, are also well addressed. In a place like Nigeria, we've seen the opening up and, in fact, it's at an alarming rate of so many fintech companies. You have OPE, you have PAG, you have Flutterwave, you have Paystack, you have PiggyVest, InterSwitch, PalmPay, Cowrywise, Fair Money, MoneyPoint, Move, Remita, Kuda, JumiaPay, ChatPay, so many of them coming up. And that has made life easy for everybody. So reversing to when it was just one platform, which is actually the backbone, which is the NIBS. You had so many other digital platforms that had come up, handling hundreds of billions of transactions. A company like MoneyPoint, I think last year, handled as much as $100 billion, in transactions, And I'm not really surprised about that. While the traditional banks were focusing more on the big enterprises, most of these fintech companies saw the gap in the market and decided to go for it. They went for the unbanked and they went for the underbanked sector. They went to most of these people that would not readily have the time or feel that how much do I even have to go and be keeping money in the bank, and tell them that, listen, here and there you can open an account. You open an account with your phone, and then you can start doing transactions immediately. So it has made businesses easier for them. And that's why you see that to a large extent, go to most of these sectors, the kind of accounts they will have are not necessarily the ones from the traditional, banks. They are from all these fintech companies. You say, oh, okay, can I make transfer for the Yama button? You say, yes, okay, which account? It's OPE, Mobile, M.Pay, and so on. Fair Money, those are the kind of accounts that they will give to you. And you make your transfer there and they're even faster, really. You hardly see downtimes with them. So, that's a development that we've had in the country, which I would readily say that the government has done very well, to aid the growth of MSMEs in the country. Next. So, powering progress, the energy solutions, what's the challenge? I think I mentioned it earlier on. A typical example is a shop owner who spends about 60% of his profit on generator fuel due to unreliable grid electricity. So what's really the solutions? That's why you're seeing the emergence of solar solutions virtually everywhere. So small-scale solar systems and mini grids are becoming increasingly affordable and viable for MSMEs. So this is really an area where Rotary clubs can address if you really want to support MSMEs within your community. Because the provision of the solar system itself is, the figure might be at a premium and they might not necessarily have, the finances to do that. So being able to come up with an arrangement in which they can pay for this over a period of time without having to break their back is a welcome development in which, Rotary clubs can actually look into, to help MSMEs within their community. And then the area of partnership opportunity, Rotary can facilitate connections between clean energy providers and local entrepreneurs, which is what I just explained. So you could have, clean energy providers, and then you look at, oh, this person, if this person actually has regular power supply, this person can actually do better and move this business to the next level. So you can address that area in which you can come up with an arrangement with such an entrepreneur, on how his challenge or a challenge in the area of power can readily be addressed. So reliable power does not necessarily reduce cost. It enables businesses to operate extended hours. It preserves inventory and access digital tools for growth. Next. So what's Rotary's impact in the area of building business skills? So the reality of it is that many entrepreneurs do not fail from lack of effort, but from missing essential business skills like financial management, pricing strategies, and marketing techniques. And that's the reality. I think I've also mentioned this earlier. The truth of the matter is that it's not as if most of these entrepreneurs do not put in the effort. They put in the effort, but the truth of the matter is that, they find it very difficult to be able to move from point A to point B. Why? Because they are just not doing the right thing. You're running a business, you don't, in the area of financial management, you are nil. You don't have your books on your sales invoice, your inventories. There's no way you monitor your issues until when you get to the store, you say, oh, there's nothing in the store again. That's when you know that, oh, I have to buy again. So you don't even keep inventory of what you do. You have not set a buffer stage in which at any point in time, once it gets to this level, I have, to restock, my product. So reality of that is that you are just you're running the business just to survive. At the end of the day, you are not likely to last the test of times, except you are able to get, the right people that can mentor and guide you on what to do. Your pricing strategies, you have to know how to do your pricing. If you're doing your pricing in such a way that what you have as your margin does not even take care of our administrative costs, then you are going to run out your capital over a period of time and you are back to square one. Your marketing strategies, what are your marketing techniques? How do you, because for every business, you have some people that are there well before you. How do you break into this market? How will you be able to compete? You have big business people that have been there for 10, 15 years ahead of you. Of course, they have the advantage. How will you be able to compete with such people? So these are the areas where you need guidance and you need, people to be able to mentor you and tell you this is how you go about it, and you follow through the work plans that have been set out for you as MSMEs to be able to survive in the challenging environment where you find yourself. Next. So, empowering local economies was a Rotary impact, club by club. So Rotary clubs, regardless of their size, they possess the unique ability to catalyze significant economic development and poverty reduction within their communities. The true measure of impact lies not in membership members, but in the unwavering commitment and strategic actions taken by members. Commitment will always drive impact. Dedicated effort and thoughtful planning are more crucial than sheer size. Every club can identify and address local economic needs, fostering sustainable growth. Small clubs can make a big difference through targeted actions like micro-lending programs, one-on-one mentorship for local startups, and hands-on skill-building workshops for specific trades. There are many clubs that are really adopting this. Micro-lending, like our first speaker had mentioned, PDG Obafunsho, I think he talked about this. The micro-lending, reality of it is that you have some clubs that will come up with like 1 million, 2 million, my club does this, and you want to empower, MSMEs in a particular area of your community. The truth of the matter is that if you don't have the right structure in place to ensure that this fund can be a revolving loan, it's only the first time that you give out that loan that scheme will die. Why? Because when people get money for free and there are no machineries in place to monitor and evaluate, they will take it as one of those things. Many will even feel that, oh, these people, they have deep pockets, this is my own share of the cake, of which that is not the reality. So that's why, because Rotary, we don't have the machineries in place to handle this, we decide to give it to the microfinance, who actually have established structures, to monitor and also ensure that this money is being paid back and other people can also benefit, so that over a period of time, you could have a substantial number of MSMEs within your community that would have benefited from the microfinance loans that you give. You'll be shocked that funds as low as 100,000, 200,000, can change the lives of some families. So there are some people you give such loans to, you see such a person, in about 6 months, and you'll be shocked what they've been able to grow, what they are doing into. And that's why I made specific mention about women with no, I'm not discountenancing, the fact that men, are also great entrepreneurs, but I'm just saying that, the inclusiveness that we get for women in the area of MSMEs is just amazing. A woman that is dedicated, to her business, you give her 100 or 200,000, go and look at that same person over a period of time. You'll be shocked, what she would have turned that money into. So it's always, the effect is always astronomical, when you invest in women. And then the broad scale development, which are for large clubs, they can undertake, more extensive projects, such as establishing vocational training centers, launching large scale financial literacy campaigns, of facilitating market access for local producers through strategic partnerships. You know, for many SMEs that have been doing so well, they are finding it very difficult to be able to move to the next level. So Rotary clubs, you know, through the assemblage of professionals that we have within us, can actually address this. You can tell them, mentor them, and guide them on how they can scale to the next level, so that, you know, you see the wonders they can do. You go to a place like Aba, for instance, you see the quality of shoes that they produce there. As a matter of fact, if they put it down side by side with a shoe that is being made, you know, from the developed countries like Italy, you will even, you know, and you don't know that this is actually made in Nigeria, you will actually go for the one in Nigeria, you know, because of the quality that they use and all that. But the sad part of it is that while the quality is there, they will rather do that kind of thing and put another label, maybe made in Italy there, you know, or made in France, because they realize that, you know, that's the only way they can actually make their sales. But not understanding that when you do that, in the next 5-10 years, what legacy are you leaving? The business that you are putting all your effort into over a period of time, you know, when you look back after 10 years, is actually being attributed, you know, to another country that is not yours. So that is where the area of knowledge gap is so important. So that when you are starting, start right, do the right thing. No matter how long it takes you to build it, by the time you have the breakthrough, you will look back and you'll be happy for it. So that is very key. And that's where you need professionals to guide most of these MSMEs in what they are doing, so that at the beginning, they get it right. Next. Let's go to the next slide. Yeah. So now, I want us to go back to the third slide. Can you please go back to the third slide where I talked about the 3 sentences? Next. Go next. Next. Yes, yeah. Now, I want us to look at these 3 sentences, you know. So I'm very curious to know, maybe when we get to question and answers, you know, we'll look at that. I'm very curious to know, what are your opinions about these 3 sentences? Are they the same thing? Are they addressing the same thing? Are they passing the same message or completely different messages? There's what we call mobility of adverbials. And mobility of adverbials refers to an adverbial's ability to change position within a sentence and still function grammatically without significant changes in the meaning. Adverbials will include single adverbs or phrases or clauses functioning as adverbs and can be placed at the beginning, middle, or end of a sentence. So the reality of it is that these 3 sentences are actually saying the same thing. And what's the adverbial here? The adverbial here is to foster economic growth and reduce poverty. So you look at the first sentence. It says Rotary clubs should empower local entrepreneurs to foster economic growth and reduce poverty. Look at the second sentence. The adverbial there is to foster economic growth and reduce poverty. Rotary clubs should empower local entrepreneurs. Look at the third sentence. It says Rotary clubs should, to foster economic growth and reduce poverty, empower local entrepreneurs. So the bottom line is that if you want to foster economic growth and reduce poverty, Rotary clubs should empower, you know, local entrepreneurs. Can we go to the last slide that we were talking about before we moved there? Yeah, this one. So just as, no, go back. Yes. No, that one. Go back, please. Go front. Yes, this one. Why are you changing it? Go back, go front, yeah. Go front.
So which one? Is it this one or this one?
No, towards the last.
Okay.
Next. Yes, this one.
The reference is
Just go back. The one before the reference. The one before the reference.
this one.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
this one. Yeah. So just as adverbials are mobile, you can move it. It can be at the beginning, it can be at the middle, it can be at the end. Rotary's call to action is also adaptable. Every club, regardless of size, can reduce poverty by supporting local businesses. Next slide. These are all the references. Next slide. So, fellow Rotarians, I can't thank you enough for listening, and I hope we're able to get 1 or 2 things, you know, that we could look into to address the area of making our community stronger, you know, through the kind of projects that we adopt as a club. Thank you so much, and I look forward to your questions later on.
Thank you so much, Past Assistant Governor Segun Adewakun. You almost becoming a professor of economic development and empowerment. Thanks so much. We like now to go to question and answer session, which will be handled by our Deputy District Learning Facilitator, DGN Uyishowabi. But before that, I would like to recognize some of our Rotary leaders that joined us, especially those from other districts. We have Past District Governor Adewakun of 9127. You are welcome. We thank you for joining us. Past District Governor Tolu Omashola from all the way from 9127 Jos. We thank you for joining us. past District Governor Bill Oyebade, he had to take a flight from 9111 to join us. Thank you for joining us. And of course, our own District Chair of Membership Committee, past District Governor Wale Ogunbadejo, thanks for joining us. And of course, there's also a Rotarian from Rotary Club of Ibadan, Rotarian Mike Ajao and others, and Rotarian Wasa Ahmed. We thank you for joining us. So over to you, District Governor nominee Uyi Shobi. So please handle the question and answer session. Are you there?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Over to you.
Yes. Thank you, sir. I want to sincerely thank our speakers. You've done so much to us, and although I've been in and out, my internet has been giving me trouble, but I've been able to note down some things. And in summary, I see that in this month of economic and growing local economies, we should be able to make financial literacy and management impact within our communities. We should also be able to engage in vocational training and skills development. We've also looked at how we can collaborate, with different networks to support different communities which we are serving. There's a saying that says the good that we secure for ourselves is precarious and uncertain until it is secured for all of us and incorporated into our community lives. So we're going to take questions, and I want to believe that we've been jotting down things. There's a lot that these two speakers have given to us. Take notes that a strong community means happier living, and we all want to be happy within the communities that we live, and we have to empower them in one way or the other. And those empowerment items have been given to us today. So we want to start taking questions. So you can either raise your hand or write down your question in the chat room. Thank you. Let's see our hands up.
Questions, comments?
Yes, questions and comments, whichever, please. Our time is fast spent.
There are some hands up. About 4 hands.
Yeah, we have 4 hands.
Okay, so we'll take the first one. Rotarian Mike Ajao, please, your comments.
All right, thank you so very much. I want to appreciate the District Learning team for putting together this wonderful presentation. And my name is Mike Ajao, Rotary Club of Ibadan, Classification Management Consulting. I want to begin by appreciating our PDG, who is also a member of my club, PDG Obafunsho. Thank you so very much, sir. Thank you for doing justice to that topic. Very short, concise, but yet very powerful and impactful. And also to thank PAG Segun Adewakun for his presentation. I'd like to begin my question. And I have just one question for my PDG Obafunsho. PDG Obafunsho, thank you so much. You identified critical factors, to helping to empower communities through sustainable economic growth. And those factors, basically 3 of them combined, that Rotary clubs can combine professional expertise of members, involve community networks, and also engaging global partnerships. But my question this morning centers on the second factor, which is on involving community networks. We found out that there are times that as a club, you want to execute a project that will impact a community positively. And relying on data and some very strong environmental scanning, you'll find out that this particular project will be more sustainable and will be more impactful on the lives of the community. But by the time you are involving the community leaders, the influencers in the community, they are not seeing what you are seeing. Rather, they want you to come and execute other projects that you know that in the long term may not be sustainable. How do you help bring them to that point where they see that what you are proposing for the community, is more sustainable and has bigger impact than what they are actually asking for? So that would be my question for you. Let me run quickly to addressing PDG Segun Adewakun because of time. Thank you so much, my PDG. You did, in fact, you touched on a lot of issues, honestly speaking. I wish we had more time for this interaction. But there's a particular issue that I found to be of serious challenge to MSMEs, in Nigeria particularly. We've worked with a lot of small business owners in this part of the world. And one major issue that we found, and I don't know if we have a lot of leaders who are addressing this, is the issue of structure. A lot of small businesses are not looking at structure. They think that everything is about money. Let me just raise funding and I can start business. Although, of course, we know that most businesses are just subsistence businesses. They are just for them to survive, just like you also addressed. How do we begin to look at the way of structure, business structure? Business structure is a key issue, and from structure to mentorship. Because we find that a lot of businesses are not actually built for growth. Small businesses are not built for growth. They are just built for survival. But if we can begin to look at, as Rotary, as an organization, to see how we could help some of these businesses to structure properly from the foundation, because the foundation matters a lot. When the business is not well structured, I can tell you, we come back to the same stories of having a lot of businesses that have serious difficulty in surviving the first 5 years. A lot of small businesses don't survive their first 5 years. It's on record. That's data. Okay, so how do we address that? Thank you so very much for allowing me to speak this morning. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. My PDG, please, take the floor.
Yes, thank you, Michael. Now the position is this. Rotary as an organization prefers we involve communities. So it is not what we want as Rotarians, because what we desire for them may not be what they really need for their existence. We see them living in squalor, the water is not potable, and things like that. Because we're in the urban area, we have education, we have all of this. For the project to be sustainable, it has to come from them. that is the aspect where Rotary is telling us or guiding us. Take your project from what the community can take a hold on. Remember, some years ago, we sank a borehole in a community at Akwete. And when we got there, the community leader said, oh, we thank you, Rotary, for all of this and this and that. But if you had asked us what was paramount to us, we would have asked you to repair our primary school. The structure has collapsed, and our children have to walk several kilometers to the next village to attend schools. That would have been the project of our desire. We want to avoid comments like this, and that's why it is not what we wish for them, it is what they want. We should look out for their interests. There may be several factors. The neighboring community, they may be hostile to each other. They don't want to put their children at risk going to that community for schooling. So I think, yes, we may have our own wish, desire, projection, but we must still listen to the community, what they want. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you very much, sir. My PAG, Adewakun, you have something to add to that?
Yes. Okay, I should address the question that was put to me in the area of structure. So, yes, I agree totally with the assertion by that we have with MSME. What it is that if we really want to see a significant improvement, in the effect that MSMEs will have on our economy, then that area of knowledge sharing is so important. And we can do it, segment by segment. If every Rotary Club addresses, that, for MSMEs within their community, they have these campaigns, they have these workshops or seminars that they come up with, in which, informations are being shared with most of the entrepreneurs there. It will go a long way. It is not just thinking that I have money I want to set up. I want to start this business, start up a business. No business, whatsoever that you want to do. Your business plan will have likely to happen to you at every stage. This comes up, how do you address it? This will make it easier, even for the survival of such businesses. And when you tell people that, listen, when you're starting a business, try to ensure that the regulatory bodies, like the government, when it's in the area of tax, pay your tax. People, nobody wants to listen to that. But the truth of the matter is that if you don't do the right thing at the beginning, it's going to haunt you years ahead. When your business seems to be doing well and is growing, and so government suddenly now comes and says that, listen, you've been running this business for 10 years, you are owing us 100 million. For many, where am I going to get this kind of money? You could have possibly generated that over time. But when you say you're going to pay us 100 million, that would be the end of that business. But if you do the right thing from the beginning, to pay what you need to pay to the regulatory bodies, I quickly just round up on that.
Thank you.
You'll see that. You will see that, your business will move, you start small, you are able to grow big. And at the end of the day, you can actually have a business that will outlive you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We'll take PAG Chinedu.
Yes, please, for the questions, just let's make it snappy so that at least we can give others opportunity to ask questions. Straight to the point, please.
Thank you very much. Just yes, thank you so much. I just want to ask my question to both facilitators. Everything was perfect. What I heard across the discussions is that for sustainability to happen, we need to bridge knowledge gap, and it is the knowledge gap that will help community economic development to take place. That is the overall. However, sustainability does not happen if we are focused on individual aids. My question is, how do we balance the knowledge gap to these aids that we put will to the knowledge that have been given? Sometimes we train these people and then we say, go and do the work. Yet they cannot be able to do it. How do we balance both the knowledge that we want to give and the aids, the individual business aids that we give to individuals or entrepreneurs, so that the community economic development will happen in that ecosystem? That's my question, please.
Thank you very much, sir. My PDG, please.
Thank you. If I understand the purport of your question, how do we bridge the knowledge gap? Part of empowerment is education. And I gave 5 instances where we can intervene. Literacy and numeracy is another aspect of empowerment. So if your design or your concept finds that there is a knowledge gap, it is your duty to bridge that knowledge gap. All right? And in doing that, you are also empowering them. Empowerment has so many facets. It's not rigid. It's not just microcredit or vocational training. So I'd rather you educate them, bridge the knowledge gap, and then allow them to run the system. This is where utilizing existing structures of the community also helps. So you are not recreating the wheel. Thank you, Chinedu. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, sir. So, my PhD, do you want to add to that?
Yes, I'll quickly just add to that. Yes, why training is so important. Training is not also the only thing that is enough. The reality of it is that when you train people, you also have to monitor and evaluate over a period of time. So it is not a function of just training people and you just leave them out there, to be on their own. When you train them, that's why at the beginning it's always better, to pair most of these MSMEs, with mentors who are experienced people in those areas, so that when they are running and they get into any pothole, they have somebody they can always revert to, to guide them. How do I accomplish this? How do I go about this? That goes a long way. So that over a period of time, you are able to have the statistics of the people that you have trained, where they are and what they are doing. You have that statistics, and that will be a source of inspiration even for the ones that are coming behind. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll take another comment or question from PP Aluze in Sirimobi. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you so much, my DGN. My United DG Learning, thank you so much for setting this up. The team of district learning and facilitators, thank you also. The eloquent speakers, thank you. That was agreed to be a very good speak. Thank you so much. All the DGs present, I also thank you. They have told us to make it brief. Particular reference to my PDG Obafunsho, my chairman district membership committee. My name is Aloze Nsirimobi. I'm a past president of the Rotary Club of Bagada and also a member of the membership committee, District 9112. Why I'm going through this is because I'm more concerned about membership. What you have just presented is very good for membership groups in clubs. Incidentally, we are talking about our communities, which is very, very good. But before we become carpenters that do not have chairs in their houses, can we also look at and also realize that Rotarians also need this training? A lot of the research has shown that a lot of reasons why clubs fail is because of business failures of members, Rotarians. So, and I know that the DG is also, current DG and the chairman of membership district committee is also working so hard to plug what we call plugging the hole. Because one of the major challenges of district Rotary membership is membership exit. And we think that if we train Rotarians on how to retain their businesses, set up their business, and they're doing businesses, they might also be very good. It will also help in membership retention. Thank you so much.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Every month. Yes.
PP Adekia. Mute. Okay, thank you very much. So we'll take the last one, the last comments or question from Rojan Bridget. Rojan Bridget, please.
Yeah, thank you so much. Good morning, my PDG, ages in house, and the super this morning. Unfortunately, I missed the first one, which where we taught agriculture. But my name is Rojan Bridget Okonwa, and I'm the Vice President Rotary Club of Island East. My classification is agriculture, agribusiness, training, coaching, and mentorship. I particularly like this section this morning. I'm not happy that I missed the first section, but I followed the PAG Adewakun well. I respond to what the first person who asked first question said. He talked about structure, how you build structures. As we know that these small business people are not to do business to survive. That's where we come in as Rotary, as Rotarians. When you are going to a community to train people, the first thing you want to teach them is structure. Because
my PDG.
The admin can.
Okay, please go on, Bridget.
Okay, so yeah, so these people, they do not know. We've talked about knowledge gap here today. And what I have realized over time, in my training spaces and all that, is that people are not aware. They don't even know that structuring their business will benefit them later in the year. They don't know that. So we bring the knowledge to them on how to structure their business. Because again, before you start investing in people, you have to reorientate them. Because the orientation that some people have is, let me start a business, let me eat capital and eat the profit. But if they do not understand that their business has to be sustainable for themselves and for their family and something that they can leave behind, they will just, swallow everything. So I think that is where we come in as Rotary, that whenever we go to a community to go and train anybody, we first teach them about structure. That will help us, okay? So I moved away from there and I'm going to the question that I wanted to ask. One of the questions I want to ask is that my PAG mentioned that clubs should do microfinancing, okay? Now, I know a lot of clubs are also doing that. It is not something we have embraced in our club. And I think it's because we do not know how we're going to manage that, all right? Now, one interesting thing that you did say by PAG, because we don't have the machineries to get these monies back, that the monies have now been, or that some clubs have decided to give the monies to the microfinance banks. Now, my question, my pitch is, those funds given to microfinance banks, are the beneficiaries paying interest on those loans? Because I know a club who gives SMEs 100,000 naira and they don't charge them for what is it called now? Percentage or what was it? They don't charge them interest. That's the word I'm looking for. They don't charge them interest. Yeah, they don't charge them interest. So these funds that are given to the microfinance banks for these SMEs, are they paying interest on those funds? And if they pay interest on those funds, how much money will the interest be on that? Is that decided by the microfinance bank or the club who is in the bank, the money to pass these people?
Thank you.
I think yes, okay, I'm sorry, my PJ. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bridget. My PAG, Adewakun, can you take that up?
Yes.
Okay, I'll quickly just respond to that. Now, because the funds are coming from the Rotary Club, you are the owner of your funds. So the microfinance is just helping you with the administration, So you will have to negotiate with the microfinance that, okay, listen, we don't want these people to pay any interest on this money. What we are concerned about is this money coming back, maybe after 6 months. You ensure that these people are able to pay the money, back. So if you are giving 100,000 to somebody and you say that after 6 months or 1 year, I want to see that this 100,000 is back. So maybe the person is paying 8,000 or 10,000 every month, So the person is not actually paying any interest. But of course, you are going to pay the administrative charge, for the microfinance. They are not going to do it free for you. So is the club will negotiate with them that, okay, maybe it's 5% that they want to take for the admin fee, and then whether the Rotary Club wants to be the one to take that off, or even if you put it, on what these beneficiaries have to take is still insignificant, really. If somebody is just paying 5%, in a year on the loan that is getting, you look at the amount you really have to pay back is absolutely insignificant. So the real impact that you want to address is still established, So it's the MOU that the club will have with the microfinance. They will be the one to discuss on that and negotiate it.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, my PDG. There's a question from the chat room from Rotarian Tayo Ogunjobi. And the question goes, what are the most effective ways the Rotary Club can measure the positive impact of its economic development projects in our communities, particularly in the long run? My PDG Obafunsho, please can you address that?
Thank you. As PDG Adewakun said, evaluation and review. You must evaluate and review. I mean, we have SMART, but the issue now is smarter. After you talk about SMART, then evaluation and review. You must subject your project each year to evaluation and review. Where have you done well? What were the lapses that you noticed? And how you then come up with strategies to ensure that the deliverables are achieved. So I think we must constantly monitor, particularly for projects that are enduring and recurring in our clubs. We don't leave it and put it aside. And that many clubs are guilty of that. My club is guilty of that. We start a project, we implement it, we don't follow up from time to time. I think we should build that culture of for evaluation and review. And if you will permit me to talk quickly about what PDG Alusi said about membership. Membership is my own forte. And listening to such a comment, just give me a few seconds to respond. We need to ensure that members are engaged. In engaging members, we use each individual's classification to deploy them into areas which will necessarily drive our project. So we retain through engagement. When members are not engaged, then the likelihood is that they lose interest in the club. Not that they can't afford the costs of Rotary, because at the end of the day, they are terminated because they have not paid. It's not that they can't pay. They have lost interest. So they lose interest. And in losing interest, they now ask themselves, what's the point in paying dues? Not that they can't afford the dues. So I would say we must, or we should, invest in our members by involving them in projects like this, ensuring that they have even the knowledge that is being done. And this is where I credit your district, and also by district, we have this monthly online learning series, and it's having some impact, and we should just improve upon it. Thank you, my DJ, for
Thank you
allowing me to
very
say
much,
that.
sir. We are rounding up, but we'll take the last comment or question from the chat room by PDG Shino Depoju. How can a club ensure that empowerment products like sewing machines, grinding machines, etc. are not sold by the beneficiaries, but effectively used? My PDG Obafunsho, I look at it, please.
I'm laughing because that will happen when we have not invested properly. So our intervention will turn to aid. And I mentioned it in one of my slides, that the expected impact, long-lasting change built on skills and opportunities, not just aid. So let us avoid a situation where we just gather people, we give them sewing machine, we give them hair dryer, hair clipper, and we then say they have been empowered. It doesn't work that way. It has to be well articulated so that at the end of the day, the person is unable to sustain that business and looks at the tool, the sewing machine you have given to her or to him, and sell it off. Because we are also not monitoring. We are not evaluating. We have just donated these tools of trade. We have only donated it to them. We are not bothered about ensuring that it improves their economic condition. Thank you, my DJ.
Thank you very much, sir. I want to sincerely thank everyone who has been able to spend these 2 hours with us. And I thank especially those who have put comments on the chat room: Bridget, PDG Ogunbadijo, Dr. Olisa, Benedict Ajike. Thank you for your beautiful, wonderful words. Bukola Olabalogun, Tayo, Faith, Kenny, Ebong Ekomobong, Adewakun, Alozie. Thank you very much, Denasi Roslin. We are almost at the end of this event. You know, we all want to be happy and we want to live happily. Our communities have to be strong, stable, and supporting. I believe we all agree. So in all of this, we have to be purposeful and we have to be strategic. I'll hand over to PDG Kola Sodipo to handle the rest of the session.
Thank you so much. What is left for me is to say a very big thank you to our two facilitators, PDG Ogunkeye and Past Assistant Governor Adewakun, for that insightful and very thoroughly delivered topic presentations. We want to thank you. We appreciate your time, and may God continue to strengthen you and give you the knowledge and the wherewithal to continue to serve humanity. I also want to thank our fellow Rotarians. At the last count, I think we had about 70-something plus members. Some have left, but we thank you for having that. And I believe we must have picked one or two things today. And please don't keep it to yourselves. Share it with your fellow Rotarians in various clubs, and let's use that to strengthen our capability to deliver good services to humanity. On that note, let me invite our district governor, Lanre Adedoyin. I hope Governor is still here. My DG, sir. Let me check. I think he's still here for him to give his closing remarks, and then we go. District Governor. Well, I'm not sure. I don't think he's here again.
He's here, but he's muted.
Okay. District Governor. Okay. Wow. What? DG. Okay.
Let me try to call him.
Yeah, so that we just close. Apologies for the break in transmission.
Apologies, please. Yes, I'm waiting for you to give your closing remark. Oh, you're muted. You're muted. All right, sir. Let's just unmute yourself. He's coming. He's hearing us, but we're not hearing him.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Could you please unmute him?
It's okay.
No, he can unmute himself. Oh, it's there.
What? Okay, I think there's a technical hitch somewhere.
Yes.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now. Thank you. Your closing remarks, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, our district learning facilitator. Let me once again thank our immediate past national chairman of RLL Nigeria, past district governor Obafunsho. Thank you very much, sir, for your well-researched presentation. We couldn't have had it better than that, and we are always impressed when we hear from you, and we have been enriched by your wealth of knowledge and erudition. Thank you very much, and we wish you well.
Thank you,
PAG Adewakun, thank you so much for your presentation. Like our district learning facilitator said, you presented like a professor of community economic development. So we thank. And I want to thank the Deputy District Learning Facilitator, DG Edu, and all Rotarians who have put this together. I won't forget to also thank PAG Akintolu, James, for all your efforts. So, as a reminder, and taking a cue from the well-researched presentations of our facilitators today, we have the Community Economic Development Seminar, where some of the issues that have been presented to us by our facilitators will come into focus on Tuesday. We have invited experts from outside Rotary to come and talk to us on some of the things that we have learned here. So I want to thank all Rotarians who have participated here, including those who have left, and wish all of us a very pleasant weekend. Thank you all, and God bless you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Well, on that note, I want to wish each and every one of us a very restful weekend. Continue to do good, and may God continue to bless our services. Thank you. God bless. See you for Saturday.
Thank you, sir.